All right, Jules, enough of this. Let's do some quick hits. Now, you'll notice there's fewer than usual because, of course, the Bundesliga, those lazy Germans.
Oh, my God, they love
still
a
on their
holiday.
extended ski break.
Yeah, they love a holiday.
We miss them. I miss them. I miss them. So let's rock on, though.
Yeah.
Manchester City beat up Aston Villa away 6-1, and Sergio Aguero bags a hat-trick. He's now fourth on the all-time top goal scorer list in the Premier League era. And then, and the reason I pointed it out, just quick aside, I know there was football before 1992, and we'll get to that. But since 1992, he ranks behind Alan Shearer, Wayne Rooney, and Andy Cole. He's also first among overseas goal scorers in the Premier League era. Jules, which is more impressive to you?
I think they're both very impressive. His goal record is sensational. The goal that he scored, the way he played. If you watch Match of the Day 2 on Sunday night in England, if you live in England, so if you caught up somewhere, Micah Richards was saying that.
Micah Richards is permanent. He lives in a television studio now.
Yeah, he does a lot.
It's like they always do this. Like they get like a new flavor of the month, right? Like ex-player gets in the media, gets the agent. For like 3 months, they're booked everywhere, and then they disappear. Or they might stick around. I mean,
I hope he does because he's really good. I think and likable. It's crazy. But it reminded me of a story that Gabriele Clichy was saying, which similar. Clichy was there when Aguero arrived, and after the first training, I got this text saying like Aguero can't control the ball. I was like, what do you mean he can't control the ball? He's like, he had training. We had training today. He was dreadful. And Micah Richards said that on Match of the Day 2 as well. He's like saying he was a bit lazy and at training and never trained that hard or never trained that well. And it's clearly the impression that Aguero gave at the start of his, even still now probably. Let's say he's not the most hardworking at training kind of player, but when he matters, when his matches, it's just incredible. And the hat trick against Villa. Just summed it all up. The way he played, the goals he scored, and it's just fantastic.
But do you know who the all-time top overseas goal scorer in the history of the English top flight is?
So we mean someone who has no links or ties with England, right? Never played for England.
No,
it's not Sergio Aguero.
Well, Sergio Aguero lives in England, so he's got plenty of ties with England. No,
okay. You found this dude.
I'm going to just find this dude, and it's interesting. There's a man named Gordon Hodgson, who's Roy Hodgson's dad. No, I'm kidding, he's not. He is.
He played between 1925 and 1940.
Yes, and he played for little clubs. But what's amazing is nobody seemed to remember him on social media. A couple guys flagged this up. But so this guy Gordon Hodgson, I guess this whole stupid debate about, well, is he really an overseas player? The dude was born in South Africa. His parents were English, but you know what? Here, newsflash: most white South Africans, unless they were Boers, they probably had English passports. I remember this was the British Empire, all the blue bits on the map, and blah blah blah. Right?
Yeah.
He was born there. He lived there until he was 20. Liverpool saw him play there, and they signed him. They took him to England, and he scored 1 million goals. He was also a very good cricketer as well.
Yeah.
He's the fourth leading goal scorer in the history of English football, behind Jimmy Greaves, Dixie Dean, and that Steve Bloomer guy who played in the 1800s. Sort of the Cap Anson, if you will.
But your friend, Gordon Hodgson, played more for England than for South Africa, right?
He was capped for England 3 times, but he was capped for South Africa twice before that.
Yeah.
Look, that was the era in which people were continuously like, oh, look, you've lived here for 2 days. Oh, yeah, let's go. This is. I mean, remember Zola Bud? Everybody was Zola Bud back then. Look,
Aguero is probably not English.
It doesn't matter, probably not English or not. The point is, Aguero was born across an ocean in a different continent.
Yeah.
Right? Played there, grew up there, was formed there, moved to England, and then scored a bunch of goals. This guy was born in a different continent. People are like, oh, look.
That's fair.
Raheem Sterling, is he not English? Raheem Sterling was 5 when he moved here. Raheem Sterling never played for Jamaica, right? Raheem Sterling is a Londoner. This dude is not. But more broadly, is it weird to you how, obviously I'm Italian, you're French. We go on and on about our heroes of the past from the 1930s when we were winning World Cups, or at least we were.
We were as well, but a bit later.
It's weird that in this country that's so many ways so obsessed, this tradition all around and the past and
the royal family,
aristocracy,
and
right? All this nonsense. Nobody knows who Steve Blum is. I bet you, like,
it's crazy.
If you were to sit outside of a football ground that's not Goodison and not White Hart Lane, I wonder how many people would know who Jimmy Greaves and Dixie Dean were.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean,
it's sad.
Except for the guys in the '66 World Cup, everything's forgotten.
Yeah,
you know. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah. Chelsea beat Burnley 3-0 at Stamford Bridge, and Callum Hudson-Odoi scores his first Premier League goal, his first ever. Gab, given the hype he's received in the past few years and everything, are you a little surprised that it's taken him so long?
Well, look, he did score in the Europa League last season.
Yeah, come on, we're talking like proper competition.
Okay, all right. But you know, he was injured. He had a bad injury. He had the Achilles injury. I was talking to somebody who used to work at Chelsea who made the point that with that kind of injury, you know, you come back and then it's still another 6 to 9 months before you really get back to where you were. So, you know, I think this season is going to be just one of growth, of tactical development for him. But we're not going to see the best Hudson-Odoi, I think, until next season. But I'll tell you what, he is such. If you see him in person, he's such a natural footballer.
Yeah,
he is so smooth. He's so well proportioned. He's so coordinated. It's scary. I think how good he can be if if his work ethic is right, if he keeps his head down. And I think we're really just scratching the surface with him. Although you know what, he's not even the Chelsea player I guess I'm most excited.
Who is?
This guy Reece James.
Oh my God. Man of the match he was, I thought.
It's a mismatch. Like, it's funny, if you were to project forward, if you were to buy futures on Chelsea players right now, I think this guy, maybe Hudson-Odoi, maybe more, but this guy would probably be second or third.
Definitely.
It's ridiculous.
Do you know what? I think there's two evolutions to come. The next evolution in football. The first one is that every player will be right-footed and left-footed. You won't be able to tell which one they're more able on or whatever. And the second one is you will have players who can pretty much play everywhere. And I think Reece James today could pretty much play in the whole of the back four. He's so strong that he could play centre half. He's quick and he reads the game so well. He could definitely play the two full back position. But you could even see him playing in central midfield or even wide in midfield and maybe as a winger somewhere. Maybe not centre forward, but centre forward and keeper is the only two positions maybe that he can play. But I think that then soon you'll have players like Reece James who can play everywhere. But what an incredible talent he is!
And you play him as a winger, mismatching against a 5'10" fullback. I mean,
you just leave him the whole right hand side and just say to him, do both like right back, right midfielder, and right winger, and then he would sort it out. Inter had a chance to extend the lead at the top of Serie A, but instead Atalanta hold them to a 1-1 draw. 2 points drop, Gab, or 1 point?
You know what? A 1 point gained, you were going to ask? Well, yeah, I think this is actually 1 point gained. And I think we need to put this in context. Atalanta are a really, really good team who started playing really, really well, sort of at the half-hour mark. And this is a rerun of what we've seen before. Inter, they got the early goal through Lautaro Martinez, but, you know, Inter missing arguably their best defender in Milan Škriniar, undoubtedly their most dynamic midfielder in Nicolò Barella. And with the lead, they just physically, Conte wants them to defend with intensity high up the pitch. We said this time and again. They couldn't do it. They can't do it because Vecino was out too, because you have Gagliardini and Borja Valero and guys like this trying to get around the park. They can't do it.
Valero can't do it.
Atalanta are good. Atalanta could have won this game. Handanovic had to save a penalty. Look, credit to Atalanta. You know, I think Conte this time, I've criticized Conte, but he was right. He said, we did the best we could. I'm proud of my players.
Yeah, it was a really good game. Really good game.
Jules, I'm excited because Ligue 1 is back. Yes! And it's back in the best possible way.
Oh, my God.
You know, last week I had to talk about that weird team from Ile de la Réunion and express my hope that they get drawn with Marseille.
Yeah.
Because obviously that was Dimitri Payet's old team. And then I thought, in Ile de la Réunion, of course, so that, you know, I was hoping that ESPN would send me there. Maybe send us both there. Maybe we'll do the podcast from there.
For 2 weeks. That would
I think at a minimum that's what they should do. But instead, no, we get league football. And we get a crazy match between Paris Saint-Germain and Monaco.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Walk me through this.
Yeah, it finished 3-3 at the Parc des Princes. It was brilliant. Neymar opened the scoring very early, and then Monaco with Robert Moreno, the new manager. It was his league debut because he only managed them in the French Cup before that. Changing a bit the formation, they started 4-3-3. They went into a 4-4-2 formation to exploit all those space and gaps left by PSG, also playing in the 4-4-2, and it worked. Monaco went 2-1 up, and then it was 2-2, then it was 3-2 for PSG, with Neymar being really outstanding, and then Slimani made it 3-3 in the second half. PSG could have won it. They had plenty of chances. Monaco had more chances. Maybe a bit. Maybe Kylian Mbappe was a bit off his game, and so was Mauro Icardi. The problem with Icardi, if there's no ammunition for him to score or at least to be involved, then he's a bit of a passenger. Yeah, true. But I thought it was amazing. There's a few things to get from that game. First is the Fab Four in Paris. The big debate is still, can you play Di Maria, Icardi, Mbappe and Neymar together, which would leave you with only Verratti and Gay in front of that back four. And that's a bit unbalanced, and Monaco were very good at exploiting it. And yes, it makes PSG a bit weaker defensively because they're not as solid as if they were in a 4-3-3 formation. So interesting, what would Tuchel do against Dortmund, for example? Because this was the first big test for that formation with the big four players, and you could say that it didn't really work. They conceded 14 shots, which is the most that they've ever conceded for the last 5 or 6 years.
Neymar and Icardi might have to do some work off the ball.
Yeah, and Mbappe as well. So, be interesting. But for Monaco, you could already see what Moreno wants them to do. It's interesting. He speaks kind of good French already.
Oh yeah, that's...
No, it's true. They've got... No, but it's true. It's important, I think.
Man speaks French.
No, it's important.
It's interesting.
But they've got good players, good talent, and I think it was a good start of 2020 for Ligue 1, I thought.
What about the Slimani goal? Like, I had all these guys on my timeline on social media being, why was that given? I'm like...
Which one?
The one at the end.
The Slimani goal?
Yeah. It's because Marquinhos plays the ball.
Exactly. I don't think there's any debate about it. Is there?
Did he make a...
There's no debate back home about it.
Right, okay.
So and Marquinhos looked like he knew that he messed up, basically, to be fair. I don't know, it's a bit, I think the game could have gone a million different ways, and I thought it was a very, very good performance from both sides. And probably the PSG could have edged it and deserved to win it, maybe. But it's good for the league that they didn't, because Marseille won again, and at least the gap is a bit closer at the top, to be fair. Well, finally, Milan win. Finally, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic gets on the score sheet as they overcome Cagliari 2-0. Gab, Ibra didn't just set a special record, did he?
Of course he did, because he's the first footballer to score in the 1990s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and now the 2020s. 4 decades of Ibra goals. I mean, he scored one goal in the 1990s when he was very young for Malmo, but it still counts.
It counts.
He's like one of those, I haven't made my wrestling reference yet, so he's like the Undertaker or something. Like, you remember his record at WrestleMania where he's undefeated? Like, he's just always there. Like, Milan played well, and and I feel like, all right. First of all, they dropped your buddy Piontek, which makes sense.
Yeah, 4-4-2. Everybody happy.
With Lau can run around him, get balls, and his finish was just so sweet and nonchalant almost, and. Amidst all the negativity surrounding Milan, I have to say, if you talk about spine, you know how English people have gone, a good solid spine. Like, okay. So you have Gigio Donnarumma, who I think is still 20 or something stupid that. Your boy Theo Hernandez is 22. Benacer, who's been playing fantastic. And by the way, if Arsenal's problem is, we only have Torreira, we don't have anybody else. Gee, boy, who was the genius?
He wasn't that good when he was there.
He wasn't that good. He was a kid.
Exactly. Well,
you can't see potential?
Well, you can, but how long are you going to wait?
He'll be remembered as the one who got away. That guy can play. And of course,
they've got a few.
Romagnoli, who's, he's 25 now, but, he's a leader. That is and Frank Kessie, who, as long as he's running around and playing bumper cars, he's still useful.
He is useful.
And Lau, that is a really good young core. You need to sort things out up front, obviously, because that's a cluster mess. But you're not in a bad position. Maybe I won't make top 4 this year, but it should be nowhere near the doom and gloom that we've heard around this team.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.